Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this second webinar about Dominican Republic and the investment opportunities that this incredible country can offer you. My name, for the ones that don't know me, is Jorge Cascos. I'm from Spain, and I have a legal and financial background. I'm here today as a Senior Vice President of Casa de Campo Real Estate. If you haven't been in the Dominican Republic, you probably hear about his beautiful rivers and beaches, the hospitality of his people, their passion for the bachata and merengue music, and their excellent, very good runs and cigars. If you already visited Casa de Campo and the Dominican Republic, I'm sure you plan to return soon. Because this is a country to fall in love. This is what happened to me 5 years ago when I moved from Spain with my 13-year-old son. Casa de Campo, which I will proudly represent in this season, is the only exclusive real estate brokerage firm in Casa de Campo. We are a team with the most experience, knowledge, and best ethical principles. And we are by far the leader in property sales. We'll talk about Casa de Campo later at the end of my presentation. As a lawyer and as a professional who has been involved in the financial sector for years, I really know the importance to obtain, how important it is to obtain information about the country in which you plan to invest. Aspects such as political and social stability, legal certainty, that is very important for every investor, the economic situation and medium-term prospects, the exchange rate, the legal framework, and taxes are necessary to know and are what I want to discuss with you today. Please, if you have any question, I will be very happy to answer at the end of my presentation. Thank you. So let's talk about the topics we will cover. Social political framework will be the first topic. Macroeconomic framework, we'll talk about the inflation rate, the monetary policy. We'll talk about the tourist sector, because this is what will affect too much for secondary residence real estate market. We'll talk about the KPIs, the Casa de Campo real estate market, and we'll talk about the taxes for the real estate industry. So let's start with the social political framework. So you see this nice picture. The conferencia Interamericana has took place this year. The Dominican Republic, it's a democracy and is a very consolidated democracy. It's one of the most stable countries in the Latin America and Caribbean. From 2004 until 2020, the country has been ruled by PLD, Partido de Liberación Dominicana, of conservative ideology. In August 2020, the current president, Luis Abinader, of the Partido Revolucionario Moderno, also conservative, took office, bringing about an important change in the power structures. The new president is carrying out a policy of purging responsibilities of previous governments and confronting prevailing corruption. Abinader is a president with a track record as a successful businessman and has surrounded himself with a very well-trained economy team with an ambitious plan to modernize the country. We are close to the next election. It will take place in 2024. And everybody expects, and the service shows that Abinader will make another second term. But looking at the heart of the situation of the governments in the Latin American, Caribbean regions, we see, have a look at the Chile, I mean, Ecuador, Argentina with the new president, Mexico, Peru. I mean, we see that all this country has adopting populist and left-wing policies that worry and scare away investors. And this situation is benefiting Dominican Republic. As a consequence of these policies and instability, Dominican Republic is receiving a lot of capital flows coming from Latin America. Dominican Republic accounts 3.5 billion in greenfield foreign direct investments, FDIs, projects in 2022. According to figures from Foreign Investment Monitor, FDI markets, the second highest annual performance of records after 2011. Since the turn of the decade, no Central America or Caribbean country, other than Mexico, has attracted as much FDI, foreign direct investments, as the Dominican Republic. So let's see how is the economy doing in the country. The GDP, the gross domestic product, has performed and is performing and will continue performing better than the average of the Latin American and Caribbean countries. You see the figures here. The orange line is Dominican Republic, and the LATAC area are the LATAC countries, the blue line. So you see it's performing significantly better than the average. So for 2010 to 2022, the average growth of the Dominican Republic has been 5.15%, and the LATAC average has been only 2%. That means the Dominican Republic is performing, is growing more than double than the LATAC economies in the region. I mean, this is what happened. What is coming? And we could see the forecast made by the World Bank. And the estimation for this year will be close to 3.10% against the growth of only 2% of the economies in the region. For 2024 and 2025, with this estimation is 4.6 for 2024 and 5% 2025. So that means it's still double in 2024 and close to double in 2025. So how is performing the GDP per capita? The GDP per capita is the green line you see in the screen, and the blue line is Latin American Caribbean. You can see that the gap between Dominican Republic and Latin American Caribbean is being bigger. It's performing much better, Dominican Republic, than the rest of the economies in the region. And this is a very important indicator, the GDP per capita. So let's talk about the inflation rate. Okay, the pandemic year and the years after the pandemic, all the economies in the world are passing and suffering a big increase in inflation. In 2020, the inflation in Dominican Republic has been 3.8. It's half of the rest of the economy in the region. 2021 has been 8.24. 2022 has been 7.83, but all the region average has been 14.6, and that figures that doesn't include Argentina, because Argentina will destroy those numbers. And 2023 at September was 4.41, and the region performed 5%. So the estimation for the year, the close of the year, will be close to 4. But still, with all the troubles in the economy, with the Ukrainian war and pandemic, this figure is still performing much better than the average. Okay, let's talk now about the monetary policy. Let's start with the public debt. The public debt in the Dominican Republic 2020 was $44,300 million US. At the end of August 2023, it's 10,000 million more, 54,545 million US dollars. I mean, at the end of 2021, the public debt was 56.6% of the GDP. At the end of 2022, the ratio was 45.9%. So it's true that the public debt in absolute numbers has growth, but most important than that is the ratio between public debt and GDP is lower than it was. Is at the level of 45-46% of the GDP, the public debt. In the case of the European Community Union, the average is 91.6%. So the figure of 45-46% is quite satisfactory. And if we compare that with the GDP, with the ratio debt over GDP in the Caribbean and Latin American region, we see the average in the region is 69.8%, 59.8%, and Dominican Republic is 45-46%. So again, this economy is performing much better than the economies in the region. Well, interest rates is another instrument of the monetary policy. The Central Bank of Dominican Republic has followed very closely the policy of the Federal Reserve. So the interest rates in December 2021, the Central Bank decided to increase by 100 basis points the interest rate at 4.5%. And continue increasing the interest rate up to November 2022, with reaching the number at 8.5%. Since that maximum in November 2022, up to now, the interest rate has decreased from 8.5 up to 7.5 in September 2022. But currently, in December 2023, the interest rate is 7%. How the currency, the peso is performing? How is the currency performing in this environment of the Ukraine war, post-pandemic problems in the world? So in 2019, the exchange rate was 51.2 pesos per dollar, and in 2023 November, currently is 56.7. So this 2020 was 56, 56.43 2021, 54.76 2022, and this year is 56.7. So it's quite stable if you consider that it's a small economy in a very complex environment, economical environment. So let's talk about the tourist sector in the country. The tourist sector accounts for 16% of the GDP in Dominican Republic. The tourist boom is boosting the economy, the Dominican economy, especially construction and employment, with 24% increase in the number of new building permits between 2022 against 2021. The main areas of tourist attraction are Punta Cana, Bávaro, La Romana, Valladolid, Santo Domingo, includes Boca Chica, Juan Dolio, Puerto Plata, and Samaná. Samaná is growing quite fast as a tourist destination in the last 2 years. So the number of tourists received by the country is beating records every year. We see that before the pandemic year, 2029, we received 7.1 million tourists. Goes down dramatically in 2020 and down to 2.7 million. But 3 years later, less than 3 years later, we close the year. We multiply by 3, probably at the end of the year, we will by 4, the number of tourists received in 2020. In 3 years, multiplied by 4. It's a big success of this country. So the figures at September 2023 was 7.6 million, 87.3% arrives by plane, and the 21.7% arrive by cruise, by ship. So 7,625,000 tourists. If we compare this figure against 2022, we could see that the increase has been 29% increase, January to September. We compare those 2 years. So the good news again is that at November 30th of this year, the number of tourists, the Ministry of Tourism reports 9.1 million tourists. So we will close the year around more closely to the 10 than to the 9 million. Remember that this is a country of 11 million people. So 2023-24, probably we will close the year with more tourists received than the population of the country. The same thing that is happening in Spain, that doubles the tourists of the population. So big improvement in the tourist industry in this country. So let's analyze the main KPIs for the tourist industry. Average expenditure, average stays, and occupancy rate are the main 3 KPIs for the tourist industry. Let's talk about average expenditure. Third quarter 2022, the average expenditure was $139. The average expenditure third quarter 2023, so this current year, is 1,503. So that represents $14.6 per day per tourist. That means 10.5% more than the same period of 2022. Average stay in the third quarter of 2022 was 8.57, remains more or less the same this year. But in talking now about occupancy rate, we will see the difference between the average in the country. That's you will find the right side of the screen. the different regions of Dominican Republic, and you will see in the left side of the screen. So the average occupancy rate, the highest ones are Romana Valladolid with an average of 81.5, and after that Bávaro Punta Cana 77.3. To give you an idea, the break-even point for the tourist industry is 65% of occupancy rate. At that occupancy rate, the tourist industry achieved the break-even point. So if you see the figures, Romana Valladolid with 81.5% performs the best in the country, and the average of the country is 70 something, and he has 85.5. So, and it's very important because Casa de Campo is in Romana Valladolid province. So let's talk about Casa de Campo. The country received more than 54% tourists coming from US and Canada. And the same thing happens in Casa de Campo resort. Casa de Campo is the most exclusive resort in the Caribbean. Has an extension of more than 500,000 acres and has over 50 years of lagoon experience. Located in the province of La Romana, south of the island of La Española, it had access to 3 airports: 8 minutes from La Romana Airport, 45 minutes from Punta Cana Airport, and 60 minutes from Las Americas Airport in Santo Domingo. Privacy, security, high standards of service are essential for Casa de Campo Resort and Villas. We have a 5-star hotel with new 65 rooms and an amazing spa, and the hotel is part of the luxury hotel for the world. The resort has more than 2,500 private residences. Among its 4 golf courses, all by PTI, Teeth of the Dog is considered among the top 20 in the world. We also have the most complete range of amenities. Tennis club with more than 13 fields, equestrian club, 3 polo fields, a shooting range, its own marina with 370 moorings. There is no space in the marina. If you are looking for a mooring for your boat, there is no space. There's no way. Beach club and a medieval Mediterranean village, Altos de Chabón, with its very famous amphitheater for more than 5,000 people. Most of the shops and restaurants are concentrated in La Marina and Los Altos de Chabón. The resort has more than 14 restaurants, more than 14 gastronomic experience of international cuisine. We have restaurants with Spanish cuisine, Italian cuisine, Mexican cuisine, Japanese cuisine, so all of them with high quality and very good service. Well, talking about now Casa de Campo as investment destination. We already commented that we are in the region with highest occupancy rate in the country, with very good communications. So the owners of Casa de Campo that already invest, they know has made a very safe real estate investment because it's a consolidated resort with a solid track record of growth. Growth reinforced in the last 3 years after the pandemic. All the transactions in Casa de Campo are made in US dollar, and Casa de Campo Resort and Villas has the support of the Central Romana Corporation Limited, which is permanently updating the infrastructure. We have a very good hospital, Central Romana Hospital, and we also have the Abraham Lincoln School, a prestigious bilingual school. Casa de Campo Real Estate is the only official real estate agency in Casa de Campo. In 2022, we sold 286% more properties than our immediate competitor. So we are by far the leaders in sales in Casa de Campo. So let's talk about the KPIs of the Casa de Campo real estate market. Here are the figures between January 1 and September 30 of 2022 and 2023. The inventory of 2022 was 64 properties for sale, and September 2023 are 59. So this is lowest inventory. The number of sales of villas 2022 were 86 sold, 2023 42. Condos 2022 12, 2023 7. Landlords the previous year 41 and this year 36. Talking about the figures of sold properties, there are some properties, pending properties, we are not account as sales until the contract is signed and the final payment is done. Well, the KPIs, sale over lease price ratio has been last year between 95 and 100%. So we sold the properties, we could say, at listing price. That means that the market is very strong. Absorption rate, this is 6.9 months in 2022, 50% less than 2021. So to give you a personal example, last month, November, I sold a gold villa in 5 days. The listing price was 165,000. And last month also, we put on the market 21 landlords. And the 21 landlords has been sold in the first day of being in the market. The first day in the market, we sold 21 landlords in Casa de Campo. Median sales price 2022 was 1.9 million, 1.9, higher than 2021, 94% higher than 2021. The median sales price was close to 1 million. So this is again another KPI, another indicator of the strength of this real estate market. The number of sold properties this year is lower, mainly because all the properties under 1.5 million has been sold 2021, 2022. Our main demand, 80% of our demand is focused in prices up to 1.5 million. And also the absorption rate. So it's a liquid market, and the inventory is much lower than it was. So the KPIs of the real estate market in Casa de Campo are really performing quite well. That means this is a strong market, liquid market, with prices going up. So let's talk about taxes that are very important before to take any investment decision. There are two main laws for tax incentives for foreign investors. The law 16995 for foreign investments and the law 17107 for special incentive of pensioners and rentiers. There are two countries with additional advantages, Canada and Spain, because those countries have signed treaties to avoid double taxation, which taxes are related to real estate investments. So the real estate tax, that is 1% yearly in two equal payments, 50% in March and 50% in September. The 1% is estimated over the property value. Transfer tax, when you buy a property, you pay 3% transfer tax over the property value, is buyer side tax. Property value is the same, is the value you put in the contract you sign in front of the notary. Capital gains, the capital gains rate is 25%, but allows in inflation adjustment. I mean, you can increase the property, the value of your property with the inflation rate during the years. Inheritance of properties by non-Dominicans, Dominican law allows foreigners to have their national law determine the rule of inheritance. So if you want to invest in Dominican Republic and you want to have a mortgage, you are able, local banks provide mortgages to foreigners 60 to 65% of the valuation, appraisal of the property, the maximum they give in mortgage. So thank you for your time. Let's summarize what we have discussing during my intervention. So Dominican Republic has a stable government with conservative policies. There is a secure legal framework. Dominican Republic has a growing economy with very good forecast. A public debt under control, a fairly stable currency, a tourist breaking records every year, low taxation and tax incentive, and all the real estate transactions are made in US dollar. All these factors encourage the flow of capital from Latin American countries and Spain to invest in DR. And I hope all these factors, all the information provided today will help you to decide to invest in Dominican Republic and in Casa de Campo. If you need more information or receive information on properties to sell for sale in Casa de Campo, I will be happy to help you to make the most appropriate investment decision with a great potential of revaluation. Thank you for your time and attention. And I wish you, all of you, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You will see my contact details here. Thank you so much again. Oops.